lesson mariachi videos. So it's Labor Day weekend. I've had a couple of days of just trying to get my house in order down here in Fort Worth, Texas. So for those of you who've been watching my channel for a long time, maybe didn't catch the last couple of videos, I actually moved. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area now, living a little closer to Fort Worth than Dallas. I hear Dallas is kind of a crazy spot, so I don't think we're going to be living there anytime soon. So we're out here in the burbs, in the woodlands, so to say. You know, being an Arizona kid, growing up in Tucson and then living in Phoenix, you get used to desert your whole life. You come out to Texas and it's like it's a jungle. So there's a lot of trees, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of mud, a lot of brick houses. It's like Leave It to Beaverland out here, and I love it. It's great. The only thing that sucks is kind of the humidity. It kind of just comes into the house, regardless if you have AC or not. But it's good for the guitars. The guitars love it. So wanted to do a quick video today. I have a lot of guitars in the house, so we're gonna kind of go through them. And I got 3 Candelas guitars, and including the one that I just purchased, the beautiful La Irene, and one that I actually bought years ago and sold to a friend of mine here in Texas. And he stopped by earlier today, just kind of chatting and having some fun, and he left me the guitar so I could kind of like just monkey around with it for a while. And then I have a far older Candelas guitar, and then I have this one. It's a Benito Huipe Flamenco Negra, and yeah, it's just kind of been my COVID survival guitar. It even has like a crown headstock, and you know, this is the Rosa. She's really nice. So yeah, let's get into the guitars. Video. It kind of is and kind of isn't, because when you're talking about comparing guitars, even between builders, or you know, amongst other builders, you know, of the same brand or a different brand or whatever, right? Because we all know that every guitar is kind of different, has its own sound and vibe and life and characteristics, right? They're all unique. That's what I love about classical guitars and guitars and musical instruments in general, is they all have a story, they all have a life, they're all unique. You know, some are tailor-made for people, like the one that was built for me by Candelas Guitars. Tomas Delgado built me a custom maple classical guitar that has kind of a mariachi flair to it, and it's really nice. And I had a friend of mine stop by earlier today. It is Labor Day weekend, so we're just kind of chilling, and he brought back a guitar that I had bought from Candela several years ago, and sold to him when he was starting his whole mariachi opera thing. I'm not gonna call him out or put him on blast. I don't know if he wants his name out there or not, but this is the guitar that I sold to him. It's a mariachi guitar. Bought that one a few years ago. It was one of my favorite guitars for a long time. And then I have this guitar that was worked on and restored. Oh, Jesus, look at that. Look at the wood. Yeah, man. Rosewood guitar, a little older. This is probably from the late 70s or early 80s. Back in the day at the Candela shop when Tomas's dad was running the show. That's a very nice instrument. And then I got this one here. This has been my COVID Corona survival guitar, and I bought this kind of on a whim and out of desperation, because at the time when COVID struck, I didn't have a guitar, because all of my guitars were at the Mazda shop because they had gotten water damage several months ago when I was still living in Arizona. My house got flooded, there was a water pipe that burst, it got to the guitars, and so they're at his shop, just, you know, being cared for, and they're really nice shit. So I'm really we're hoping we just take our time with that stuff. And plus, he's busy as hell. So guys, I've had some questions about Candelas guitars recently. I mean, this one that was built for me, I mean, this is a classical maple guitar and spruce top, classical spruce top. Some really nice stuff. And you know, what I heard from the shop is they have a bit of a backlog now, and There's a lot of folks that have been ordering stuff, so if you are looking to score deals and trying to get instruments on the quick, I wouldn't expect, to be doing that right now, because there's a lot of folks that are trying to get instruments. So, I got really lucky that I was able to get this one. It's a very special guitar. It was a special build, and kind of like a, something that was in both of our brains at the same time, and so it just came together. But yeah, just, please remember to be courteous, be polite, and be patient with people. There's a lot of folks that are trying to deal with COVID issues and the business and the way that things are going in California, and there's a backlog right now for a lot of builders, and Candelas is no exception. So there's a lot of work that they're doing right now. So if you're expecting to just call up and throw down some cash and get treated like King Tut, just remember to be respectful, guys. I mean, there's nothing wrong with please, thank you, and thank you again, and please again. All right, so just remember those things, and you'll go a long way with a lot of these folks. But this is a very special guitar, and I say that just because I get the feeling that people want stuff like now, right? And that's just not the way the world is working right now. So just be patient, right? But I wanted to share some of these guitars because my friend brought this one over, and this was a really special guitar. And I don't know, man. You can only really make videos when you have motivation and you kind of feel like turning on a camera and just talking to yourself, basically, which is an insane thing to do. I still think it is. So you kind of have to be motivated and be inspired. So I'm going to go through these guitars, and like I said, this isn't a comparison video. This is just a house full of guitars, almost a full house. I got 4 here. And we're just going to be playing playing a little bit, seeing how they sound, how they respond. When you're talking about really high-end instruments or classical guitars in general, you don't really compare them to one another. Like which one is the best, which one is this, that, and, the other. That's a stupid thing to do, right? You don't really do that to say, this is the better one, this is an inferior one. It's kind of like Kill Bill. Remember Kill Bill? When the Hattori Hanzo sword was like the most sought after Japanese, sword, weapon, and everybody wanted one, and, some people had them, and if you had them, really nice. And in that movie, one of the characters, I think Bill's brother, talks about a Hanzo sword, and the chick, the one with the patch, she's kind of a pendeja, and she says, how does that sword compare with this sword or your sword, the other? She's asking the wrong questions, really. And, Bill's brother, Bud, that's his name, the hillbilly guy, he kind of sets her straight a little bit. He said, if you're going to compare a Hanzo sword, you compare it to every other sword ever made by Hanzo, and you compare it to every other sword that wasn't made by Hanzo, and you compare it to every other sword that could have been made to Hanzo. He's basically telling her, hey, you dummy, you're asking the wrong question. These things are not comparable that way. They all possess their own kind of spirit and their own characteristics, and they're made for a purpose. And they fulfill those purposes, or they don't fulfill those purposes. That's basically it. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. I have some pretty high-end shit here, so we're just going to kind of play around with it. And again, this is a collection video, sort of, right? A comparison video, sort of, not really. The main point is just to share. There's a lot of cool stuff out there, and I know a lot of people, they hoard instruments, which is their right, and a lot of things just stay in closets and in collections. They never see the light of day. They never see the mic. They never see a gig. They never see a stage. And that's fine. That's their right. They own that shit. That's their right. This is more me sharing with the world, basically, you guys that watch my channel, just sharing a little bit, right? There's a lot of people that do collection videos and comparison videos on YouTube and online, and the best ones are never like, aha, look what I have, I'm a gamer and I have every game system that ever was made and I have 1 million games and oh, look at me. And it's like, good for you. You're never going to play all that shit, right? I mean, what's good about it is when you have somebody that does collection videos and they're not flaunting all of this shit they have in their house, they're just saying, here's how much I appreciate everything. I go through the trouble to find and procure things at the best price that I can afford, because we're not all rich. I'm certainly not. And set goals, go on the hunt, find these things, and preserve them, because they can rot in a swap meet, they can rot in a pawn shop, or they can be salvaged and they can be cared for and preserved forever, right? That's the goal here. Honestly, the 4 guitars that I have sitting right next to me are going to be here long after I'm dead, right? If I have kids, hopefully they'll inherit these instruments and they'll appreciate them the same way that I do. If I don't, then there'll be nice little things that maybe my wife or whoever's around after I'm dead, could sell to somebody who will make great music with them, right? So, okay, I'm going to get off my little soapbox and rant, but I just wanted to set some shit straight, okay? Because there's always comments, there's always things, and this is just how I feel. So, all right, on with the video. This is a Benito Huipe. This is not a Candelas. This is a guitar maker out of Mexico, and it's quite an instrument. Now, this was a newer model. This is like a 2017 Huipe guitar. A little bit of a closer upper. So, if we look there, this is cedar top, right? Very nice. It's lacquer finish, so it's very durable. I don't really like lacquer finishes because it kind of tends to kill the sound just a little bit. There's the tag, Benito Huipe. Right. And you see the lacquer on this thing, pretty thick. It's like a glass finish, right? I'm not exactly sure what this wood is. If it's cocobolo, if it's palo escrito. Most likely this is palo escrito, Mexican rosewood. It's very highly figured shit. It's really nice. It's got the rosette. You look down here, you have the crown. La corona, el virus. Look at that. That is what's been stalking our planet the last several months. Look at that shit. It's great. Some single lines, some second position stuff. The only problem that I have with newer guitars like this, they're very inexpensive, right? But they don't always sound great in all the positions. It's much better when you have an older guitar. Now, for people that are looking for a much more affordable but concert level guitar, I do recommend Huipe guitars if you can find them. If you you want to buy something now, if you got Feria and you're ready to buy, there's a Huipe online. I think it's like $3,800 or something like that on the Candelas website, and it's an original made by the father. Now, the father, Benito, has people working in his shop. He has sons, all that shit. I'm pretty sure this is not made by the master himself, right? Probably one of his shop hands would put this together. It still has a standard, right? And there goes the pick. So you see it has a wide sound, right? It gets a little more difficult to play in the second and third positions, right? It just a little bit, not. Right? It would be great for anybody, really. And I bought this just because I wanted to have a Huipe guitar. I really respected the builder, and it was cheap, and I was broke, and I had no guitars. So there was no gigs to play anyways back in March and April, but this would be a good gig instrument for me out here in the humidity of fucking Dallas, Texas, and Fort Worth. I could go outside playing this and sweat all of my sweat onto the guitar, and I wouldn't feel bad about it, right? And it would sound great. viejita guitar. So this is an old Candela's guitar that I bought a few years ago, actually. It's been at the Candela's shop getting repaired for a little while, just because he takes his time with these things. Especially, you know, I'm a very patient guy. I'm never in a rush. I'm just like, whatever, man. You do your magic, and when it's done, it's done. You know, I never pressure people when they're doing work, and that's something that I would recommend to a lot of people. If you're in a hurry to get stuff done, you know, make that clear, right? And if you make it clear, and the person tells you, well, sorry, but I can't, you know, necessarily meet those demands, then that's just the way it is. Now, if you're saying, I'm in a big hurry, here's the thing, some people might charge you more money to get a priority, right? That happens. I know a lot of guys in Mexico who do guitar repair work. They'll either charge you more money to put you in front of the line, or they'll do a shitty half-ass job right then and there. You get two options. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too all the time, right? So again, you gotta be patient. Now I had this, I was still living in Tucson when I bought this. This was 2017, 2016. Yeah, this is how long this has been to get here. Now it's 2020, right? Now I'm in a whole other fucking state. But this is a cedar top, Candela's, old school. Let's see if I can get a close-up. Here's a close-up of the cedar. More cedar. I like cedar. See if you can get up in there. Take a look at the label. Old school. I don't think you can really see it. It's too dark. Now, at some point, I'm pretty sure this was lacquered. And so when Tomas did this, I don't know if he had to go in and touch up any of the finish, but it looks really nice. Old school headstock. I put on some Godot tuners from Canada. These are German tuners, but I bought them out of a Canadian. Really nice stuff. Just look at that. Look at that rosewood and that light angle. Boom. Back and sides are sexy. I'm not sure if this is like Cocobolo or some other type of rosewood, but it's nice. The thing about rosewood guitars and cedar, you see, they just go on forever, right? There's a resonance there that I really like. Now, total difference from the other guitar at this position. Has a lot of life. Total difference. Like, it's so easy to play here. Just kind of goes on and on. This guitar again was restored at the Candela shop by Tomas. There's a lot of work that went into this guitar. First of all, the seam, the joint right here, where the two bookmat sides are glued together, was broken. There were some ribs in here that were broken. The fretboard needed to be refretted. There were some cracks on the back that needed to be, repaired. Just a lot of stuff, and you could probably barely tell. So if you look there is the crack, and it just looks like part of the wood, like it never happened. Damn lights. Use this if I was doing like a live, gig on stage on a directional mic, right to the guitar. that's old. I mean, probably late 70s, early 80s. Candelo's guitar right out of the shop. I'm probably killing the mic right now, but yeah. Now we're gonna get into some of the newer stuff, right? So this guitar is not mine. It used to be. I bought it from Tomas in the shop back in 2017. Right after I got married. Or was it 2016? Something like that. This I bought a long time ago. Yeah, this is number 448, and back in 2016, guys. Remember 2016 when the life was nice? So this I sold to a friend of mine here in Texas. I'm not going to blast his name all over the internet if he doesn't want that, but if he does, comment below, bro. This is your guitar. He was here today earlier. It's Labor Day weekend again, and it's Sunday, so it's guitar day. So I put some new strings on it for him, cleaned it up a little bit. This guitar has been getting some work before COVID. As you can see, like this is where the arm goes, right about there on the traje, and that's good. I like that. That's nice character, some character. So if you look here, tacote top, standard mariachi guitar. My buddy's been taking really good care of this guitar, so I'm happy to see that. Super new Candelas, right? 2016. It's still getting better. The thing about these guitars is that they improve with age. This was mahogany or cedar. I think this was cedar. What does it say? Cedar tacote. Yeah. So this was cedar, or it is cedar. Natural look. Binding. I had installed these nickel Schallers. These are Schaller German tuners. I like them a lot. They kind of pop on this guitar. Everybody does gold, and so I was like, oh, let's do silver, like nickel color. There's the Candelas logo. Shout out. The headstock. It's good shit. So we're gonna kind of jammy jam. Whoa, what's going on to me? I just put the strings on it for him. Whoa! Guys, this is tacote, what they use for vihuelas and guitarrones in Mexico, and cedar. This is not rosewood and spruce and some crazy concert classical stand. This is shit. It's blowing me away, man. I'm gonna have to buy this back from him. You see what I'm talking about? Like the brightness. It's still very young, but it has. You see what I'm talking about? Like even at the lower positions or the higher positions, it's easy to play. It sounds, it has the clarity. That's what we're looking for, right? When I pick up a guitar and I go to the higher positions and they don't tune or they don't sound clear or bright like that, in second and the third positions or even in the fourth position, and they don't sound, all you can do is play up here, that's very disappointing. This plays. this plays everywhere, and it tunes, and it sounds great. You see, a guitar like this, it's versatile because it's correct everywhere you go. Just like the, this one, this guitar, now that it's been restored, Tomas has gone through and restored the greatness of this guitar so that it plays just like that, but it has that age, right? It has the age sound, mature sound. That's what we want, right? Same thing on this, it's right from the start. That's a lot of fun. We're going to do some more cover songs with this thing now that I have it for a little bit. It'll be a lot of fun. Here we go. Let's compare. All right. Brand new stock. This is the 2020 Pandemic Survival. This is the 2020 Candelas Maple Spruce Classical with a mariachi touch, right? Here is the mariachi rosette, the crazy new rosette. This is one of one. This is the brand new design, brand new look, but bringing back a lot of old school elements, right? It's got that old school headstock. This headstock actually was a design from Tomas's dad and Tomas's granddad. The founders, right? Old school. Then you have the maple, which takes you back to the original, 20th century, 19th century guitar builders in Spain. They build with maple. They build with whatever they had. And there's limitations on this kind of wood. And so what Tomas has done, the Candela shop has done, is just elevate everything to the highest possible level. And we're gonna do our own like individual video just for this guitar. I keep saying that, but it's actually pretty hard to sit down and stop playing this guitar and actually get on it. But it's coming. Yeah. You see what I mean by it's hard to sit down and do anything other than just play this badass. It kind of just goes on and on and on, and on and on and on. So let's compare. Now we're going to compare a little, okay? So please forgive me. But this is actually something that I want to point out is when you get to these positions, right? When you're not just up here in the first position, when you go to second, you go to third and fourth, the guitar should keep getting better, right? There should be more life as you go here. Not less, right? This is your base. This is where your starting point is. Very open, very standard, very basic. You go. It's supposed to get brighter. Right? You go here. there's a little bit of comparison, kind of just back to back in this higher position. You know, as you can see, I think to me, my ear, this guitar and then the very, very old Candela's guitar kind of tend to sound and feel the best, right? Like when I'm playing here, I'm not struggling or really putting any effort at all. When I'm playing the Huipe, the newer Huipe, that's the more lower cost end guitar, it's a little bit of a struggle. I have to put more effort here and a little more focus, right? So when you're playing on a stage or you're playing a concert, you're relying on your guitar to help, you know, put as much forth as you can, and you're struggling with the guitar, that's a problem, right? There should be no reason other than it's a lower cost instrument, which is not bad, it's just, it's a lower cost instrument. Because there's that thing that people say, like, oh, it doesn't matter, the instrument is the player. Like, to a degree, yes. Yes, I agree. For a little bit, especially when you're in the beginning, you learn basics, and then as you progress, you learn repertoire and technique and style and performance, and so much in going into being a musician, right? And that's all true. A great guitar in a bad musician's hands is still not going to be worth anything, right? It sucks. But if you're a decent musician or even a great musician, you know, I think I'm decent at best. At best, I'm decent. If you're worth anything as a musician, the higher you go with the instrument in your hands, the more you're going to be able to get out of it, right? You're going to be able to be more motivated, be more inspired, you know, draw more emotion out of your playing. And hours of practice also help, right? So yeah, guys, that's about it. This isn't really a collection update video, but I'll do one for like my guitars and probably do a little bit more in-depth review of this one here, the maple classical guitar. It deserves its own kind of just recognition and video, and that's going to take time, and I got to be in the right frame of mind to do that kind of thing. So we're going to do that, and I really just wanted to make this video. Just, I don't know why, people on YouTube really like to watch collection videos, and it draws a lot of views, and that's kind of the whole point of being on YouTube, is to get attention and views, and also, mainly, I wanted to just kind of share what's going on around here. Again, today it was a lot of fun hanging out with my buddy and seeing this instrument and kind of just sitting and playing, you know, sitting back, playing a little bit of this guitar, my guitars, and just seeing how they kind of feel and play and somewhat compare. And so I thought I'd share it and make a video. So yeah, hope you guys like it. If you don't like it, well, there's plenty more videos to watch on YouTube. But what I'm going to do the rest of the day is probably make some more videos, cover songs, and maybe a lesson video or two. And yeah, guys, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.